How do you get angel investors to invest in your project?
Take effing action. Put it together. And subscribe to Tom Penn's channel on YouTube now. Yeah, I like it. It's crazy.
I promised that if I have 250 subscribers, I would give you more details on finding sources of funding. And today, I think we're at 350. So I have to fulfill my promise. I'm always a man of my promise. So today, we're going to talk about how to get money from angel investors. And I want you to remember that I've said angel investors are not necessarily angels. You know, they, like any investors, they want return on their money. They don't just want to collect, return on their money. They also want the principal back. So if they give you $1 million, at some point in time, they want to see that $1 million come back to them. So do not be disillusioned into thinking that, if you find an angel investor, they're going to give you free money. That is totally not the case. They want to see return on investment. So there are a lot of angel investors. They are everywhere. They're in every city. They're in every country. They're all over the world, in every continent. They're always looking for interesting projects so that they can put their money into it and get a return on investment. The best way to access angel investors is if you know somebody who knows an angel investor. So let's say if you have LinkedIn, look at your network. Does anybody in your network know somebody who's an angel investor? That is certainly the best way to access an angel investor. Angel investors like warm introductions. They get so much, offers from entrepreneurs, from startup businesses that want their money. They get so many pitch decks. It's best to get a warm introduction, so you stand out in the pool of proposals that they get. So yes, finding an angel investor is a numbers game. You need to talk to a lot of them. And you need to think maybe 1,000, 2,000. Maybe the ratio is 1 to 1,000, right? So it's not an easy game to play. So maybe by reaching 1,000 angel investors, you'll land your one investor for your business. And so that means you gotta go find a list of angels, and then you have to contact them. There are a lot of websites out there that list angel investors. There's so many, but I don't want to endorse any one of them. I think the one that's the best is AngelList. It's at www.angellist.co. It's really not an endorsement, just because I think they're the best. So I think I should mention it. There are many, many more. And when you're looking for angel investors, let's say you're a business in Vietnam, you're a tech company in Vietnam, you probably want to look local, right? You want to look for Vietnamese investors, and maybe look a little bit wider, look at Singapore, look at Hong Kong. There are a lot of investors based out of Singapore and Hong Kong that are looking for investment opportunities in the Southeast Asia region, right? I think unless you have a project that has a global impact, I don't think you need to go reach out to US angels or European angels. I don't think they would be interested in a project that's in Vietnam or Southeast Asia, just because they don't understand this region, so they're scared to invest in this part of the world. So you should look for somebody, an angel that have some understanding of how the local economy, how the local businesses work. Then typically they're in Vietnam, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Those are probably the angels that you should be looking at. Remember, it's a numbers game. The more you reach out, the more likely you're going to land a deal. So get a list from any of the angel directories. Look for local, regional angels. Reach out to them. Reach out to 1,000 of them, and then it's like a funnel. And eventually, most of them will say no, and some of them will say, yeah, let's talk, and some of them will be really interested, and ultimately you'll land one or two. Also, angels like to learn from each other, right? Just like entrepreneurs like to learn from each other, angels do talk to each other. Oftentimes they know each other. So if you land one, it's easier for you to get a referral to another. And in fact, they may recommend other angels for you. For example, let's say you approach one angel and they say, well, this is not the industry that, I'm really interested in, but I know my colleague in Singapore who's more in tune with e-commerce, right? So, and angels do in fact do give referrals, and I know this happens. So when I was looking for angel investors, for example, not that I needed it, but when I was looking, they'll say, well, this is really not our field. We're more of biotech, right? But I know somebody in e-commerce, let me make the introduction. They will actually make the introduction for you. So angels knows angels. So you talk to one, and if they really like you and they like what you're doing, they will make the right referrals. Oftentimes, when you do get money from angels, you will get them from multiple angels. So maybe 4 or 5 angels, they group together. So when a group of angels invest in your business, each one of them will reduce their risk profile. And especially, if it's like a really large project, let's say you have a really large project which requires a lot of funding, then angels would tend to pool together and share the funding and equity. So when you talk to angels or when you email angels, what should you do? Well, I strongly recommend that you keep the first communication concise and short, right? So you don't want to write them like an essay on the first email. Remember, they probably get hundreds of proposals a week. They're not going to go through your essay, your love story of your life. They're not going to do that. So keep it short. Give them your elevator pitch, right? So if you can't communicate your idea in 15 seconds, most likely you can't really sell it, right? So think about how to communicate your business idea in 15 seconds or less, right? And then put that in the email and be very clear. Well, I made this mistake before where, my intentions were not clear, so they don't really know what I want. This is my idea to change the world, and I'm looking for angels to fund it. Be very, very clear, right? I used to make the mistake of, I don't really need the money, Well, that just confuses them. Like, why are you here then, right? Then be very, very clear. You have a great idea, it's going to change the world, and you're here looking for money to fund the project. Now, talk business. Another way to find angels is by going to startup events. There were a lot of startup events in Vietnam and in Southeast Asia, not so much lately because of COVID-19, but I think they are going to start coming back, and you should attend these startup events because angels also like to go to these events looking for deals, looking for interesting projects. So those places are a good place to meet potential angels. When you do meet an angel, you need a great elevator pitch. You need a good story. You gotta be able to tell a good story. This is where you are really a salesperson and your sales skills is paramount in landing a investment deal, right? So tell a story about how your product or services or a business idea will help humanity, will change the world, and why they should fund it, right? So tell them a great story. Of course, there's more. The key takeaway in this video is that finding an angel is a numbers game. There are tons of them. There's a lot of them. You need to contact a lot of them. Maybe you contact 1,000, you'll get one. It's a numbers game. And you should be looking for local angels, regional angels. Rarely should you look for global angels. They're not likely to be interested in a regional idea. Use online platforms to find angels. There are many, many websites with angel directories, right? So there's thousands, tens of thousands of angels around the world. Angels like to give referrals. When you talk to an angel, remember to ask them, like, do you know anybody else would be interested in a project like this, right? And if they like you and they like your project, they will give you referrals. Angels like to syndicate. They usually invest as a group. So 4 or 5 angels invest in your business idea. So remember, talk to more of them, get referrals, and that's how you get that group of angels to invest in you. Use LinkedIn. You'll be surprised how many angels are indirectly linked to you, and that's how you can get introduction to angels. Keep your sales pitch short and relevant. Keep your email short and relevant and to the point. Make sure you tell them that you're asking for investment. You also need a really good pitch deck. You know, angels, they all want to see your pitch deck. But I will talk about that in another video. I think if you give me 500 subs, if I see 500 subs in the channel, then I will make a video about how to build a great pitch deck so that you can show to your angel investors. Don't be a fucktard and take fucking action.